All right, April, you want to start? You want me to start? I'll
You
start.
can start. You can start,
Okay.
yeah.
You keep letting them in and
I
then
will.
how is everybody? Good evening. Everybody having good weather these days or what? It's definitely the summertime months. The summer's here. It's, for some it's been a little warmer, a little hotter. For some it's been a little wetter. Just kind of depends on where you live, but it's definitely summertime. And you know, this coming week's a very important week in your business, okay, in your business. And if you're not aware of it, and you can look this up on with LifeVantage stock, but this is we end our fiscal year in June. Okay, so we have about a week, actually 1 week, because next Sunday night is the end of the pay period. It'll be the 30th. So we end it. And I know for the 6 years that we've been here, for the 6 Junes that we have been here, there's always been some sort of promotion special or sale or something at the end of June after the 25th subscriptions go out. Okay, there's always been something. So I'm just sharing that with you. I don't know that for a fact. I'm going to go over some things that Tara Wilson and Sean Poe said last week on the Zoom, that they did, and the FAB will be doing an end of the month Zoom the night of the 25th. So the subscriptions would have already been sent out, and they'll be doing one. They talk about it being for MC1s and above. In my opinion, I just think it's for everybody, because if you're not an MC1, you need the information more than the MC1s need it. Okay. It's about building a business. It's about leadership, and it's about being active. Okay. That's what it's about, is being active. So I'm going to continue to send out the link. They are not just so you know, they are not monitoring the rank of the person calling in. It's just being called a leadership call for MC1s and above. So don't hesitate to log in, whether you're MC1 or not. Okay, just log in and get the information. They have promised to keep it 30 minutes or less. I know some of them personally. I've known them pretty well for a while. They can get long-winded, okay, but I think they understand the value at the end of the month of keeping it short and getting people right back out there, doing their things. So I have a couple slides. Let me go and share that with you. Make sure we are recording. April, will you take over for a second? Because I just
Yeah.
had my slides up and they didn't come up. Would you just take over for a
Yeah.
second?
Okay. How's everybody doing? Good? Good. I had a great reminder this morning. I actually, Bobby's sister has his sister's daughter has a bridal shower coming up, and bridal showers have gotten very complicated these days. You need to have diapers and books and presents and everything's a registry. And it's kind of like you're always, I don't know, it feels like a scavenger hunt to me so much more than it used to be. It seems just a little overwhelming. And then there are some other people I'll see there that I haven't seen that, I wanted to buy baby gifts. So I was doing all that running around, and I had a gentleman reply to me. You've heard me say, I send out text messages, I send out emails, particularly, on Sunday, because, people have this thought that tomorrow's work day again. And, they hate Sunday night because it means they got to go back to work tomorrow. And that's always a good time to kind of get people to respond to me. And this one gentleman got back to me, and first he said, all right, interested, tell me more. And I said, great, what's a good time for us to talk, so that I can get to know him a little bit better. And he replies back to me. He said, what is this business about, and what do you want me to do? And this is all in a text message. And yeah, I know, Jay, right? I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? I can't even do it justice. you know, and at first I text something and I'm thinking, well, first I was just going to ignore him. I think he's, you know, not what I'm looking for. He goes into that category right away. And then I was going to tell him just to get lost after that because he's definitely not what I'm looking for. But then I put my business cap on, and I am the owner of this business, and I am doing them a favor by allowing myself to share the information and allow them to get into business, because we have to spend a lot of time. We have to train this person, you know, and I just said, you know, we need to talk because I don't know. And this is the part I want you to really write down. And this is your posture. This is what you have to feel. I don't know if you're a right fit for this business or not, or for me. I don't know if you're a right fit or not. And that kind of, you know, that gets people. They're just like, she just dissed me. I mean, I don't even know if that's a word anymore, but we used to say that dissed. So, you know, she kind of just dissed me. She just kind of just put me on a different shelf or whatever. And that is so important that we have that posture, that people give us the time for us to get to know them. Because if we don't spend that time talking to a person, we don't know what their needs and wants are. I could have very, very easily sent a link, you know, or said, hey, great, join the launch on Monday. Join the launch and you'll see everything. Well, you know, I didn't sell the launch. And so then he probably wouldn't even remember to be on the launch, even if I sent him a reminder, because he doesn't see any value in it. All he knows is that he got a link for a launch. So, you know, part of what I like to do is talk about the invite to the launch. But are your slides ready, Bobby? Or
Yeah, I'm ready, and then I'll bring
okay,
you
go
back,
ahead. Why don't you
okay?
go and then I can finish if we have time.
You got it. How is that though for posture, folks? Instead of sending some dumb text back to a person that said something dumb to begin with, and you just compounding the dumbness, she said, no, I don't know if you're a good fit for this. I don't know if you're right. We need to talk first. And like, you know, I like to say, put him in his place, but, you know, reminded him without saying it, hey, you responded to something I put out there, my advertisement, my ad. You called me, and we're going to talk before I decide if I even want you. Okay. Otherwise, you're on the shelf. That's it. You know, there wouldn't be any more. I love the posture. And folks, my office on the first floor, April's office on the third floor, but I've heard her do this a zillion times. That is her posture. Okay. So, especially when the opening line is something dumb. Okay. Especially then. So, but let me go to the slides. And like I said, this, folks, is a big week for your business. Okay. It's a big week for LifeVantage. Okay. Like I said, it's the end. You know, it's the end, not only at the end of the, you know, month of June, but it's the end of their fiscal year. They want to try and make the board and the stockholders happy and end the month on a high note. You know the deal. Okay. So a lot of you have been here longer than we have. So you know the routine, but we have noticed a trend. We've noticed a habit that every June, you know, the company manages to run some sort of special or sale to try and run up the numbers a little bit at the end of the month, which is also the end of the fourth quarter, which is also the end of the year. So that's why I said you want to be a train in motion, not a train standing still in this business. It's really hard to take advantage of a short-term special or a sudden special, okay, that you weren't expecting. It's really hard to take advantage of that if you're standing still, okay? So for starters, the most important thing you could do in the next 24 hours is get people on our opportunity Zoom tomorrow night. Okay, that's the most important thing you could do. What do? We're in the business of getting customers. We're in the business of getting consultants, and we're in the business of developing leadership. Okay. So tomorrow night's the night. This is your opportunity Zoom. This is your team. This is yours. You guys know me and April personally. Okay. This is your Zoom, and you need to be putting guests on it, because the people that they see on the screen, okay, and
Still raining?
I had this conversation with somebody
No.
else. yesterday, but April, could you check the muting?
Yeah, I'm checking.
You know, I had this conversation with someone yesterday, and I was explaining that there's no equal with a replay. Okay. And as far as you're concerned,
Yeah,
there is no replay.
but it's, yeah,
Okay. Did you find it, April?
I can't find whoever's unmuted, no.
Okay, I just keep hearing it popping in. But
I know, I don't see anybody.
don't
Amy
tell-
K. Hines.
Who? Amy Hines? Okay.
Amy
Oh, I got
Hines,
it.
please
Okay.
mute yourself. Okay.
Got it. I got
So,
it. She's muted.
you know, if we think that somebody watching a replay is the same as someone being on live, you're kidding yourself. That is just not the case. And very few people watch the replay. Why? Because it's another day and something else is live. You know, the replays just don't get watched like they did 5 years ago. Okay. It's not the same. So you want your guest to be one of the Hollywood squares. You want them to live it and be in it with you, because the chances of them watching it later are slim and none. So how do you do that? Okay. You know, we have the picture, okay, over here, the invite with the ID number, okay. Or you can text them, you know, an invite that's got the live link on the bottom here, the blue on the bottom. Okay. But you got to have the desire to create the desire in them to attend. That's what it comes down to. And I'm just going to be honest, don't spam them. Don't send it to them if they haven't asked to watch it. Okay. Just don't do it. It's, you just bastardize it, you cheapen it, and nothing's going to happen from that anyway. Okay. So you want to converse with them and, you know, and get them on. So like I said, this next 24 hours is when you should spend some time going back and forth with people on Messenger, spend time going back and forth with people your phone on text, and by all means pick up the phone and say, hey, there's something going on tomorrow night. You're not going to want to miss it. Okay. And tell them that. So that's, you know, that's tomorrow night's our night, folks. Okay. So you want to get your guest on there, and who knows, you get them on tomorrow night, and maybe they want to listen in Tuesday night with you and see what the FAB's got to say. Okay. And get things really off to a fast start. Okay. So in regards to finishing up June strong, I just talked about tomorrow night. I'd mentioned that June is the end of the fiscal year for LifeVantage, and there's always some sort of special or sale. So you just want to be ready. Okay. You want to have your list ready. You want to have your customer list ready. You want to have your prospect list ready. You just want to be ready to share whatever it is that the company announces. Okay. Don't be caught barefooted on it. Don't be caught standing still. Whatever it is that Tara and Tyler and Shinsato and Poe, whatever they share with us on Tuesday night, the 25th, if we don't get some sort of message direct from the company before that, you want to be ready to run. Okay. And just get right on it while you still have 5 or 6 days to take advantage of it. Now, if you haven't done this or you haven't seen this, the next event for LifeVantage in the United States, I'm not live event in-person event. I'm not talking about July 20th with the virtual, which, by the way, if you haven't, since I mentioned that, registered for the July 20th virtual, please do so. It's free. Okay. Whether you're going to be going to someone else's house, having people at your house, whatever it is, please register for it. It's right in the hub. Okay. You can't miss the link there. But also book your room, your hotel room for Kansas City. And the 2 or 3 hotels that are listed are right near the convention center where, you know, kind of wrap themselves around the convention center where we're going to be in Kansas City. And you got to do it today. Okay. Tonight. There's no deposit needed. They are not taking a night up front when you do it. Okay. It's October 10, 11, 12. So for those of you that have done Airbnbs with us in the past, we're not doing one. in Kansas City, where we've already rented our room, and we personally will be staying at the Kansas City Downtown Marriott. Okay, you'll see it on the list there, and and we booked a couple rooms, so for any last minute stuff that we want to bring in, any people we have that decide last minute, we have a room for our own guests. But book your room today. Okay, when this Zoom is over, you do not need to prepay for any of it, and you can release your rooms. It was either, I think it's 3 days before, without penalty. So you can hold that room all the way up to 3 days before the event and let it go with no penalty. Okay, so they're not charging up front, and you got 72 hours before the event to let it go without them taking a night. Okay, so good stuff. Okay, really, really good stuff. We want to get a big turnout there. Now, another thing, I love Tara. Okay, Tara is my sister from another mother. She's like a sister to me in April. Ever since we spent a week in Europe with her, we got very, very close to her. And she likes to leak stuff, FAB stuff, and she's become a great partner and friend, but she was leaking stuff the other day. Okay, obviously there's a new incentive trip that's going to be announced on July 20th. Okay, meaning the destination will be announced. Okay, where the location, destination, whatever you want to call it. So if you were on the Zoom, you kind of heard Taryn mention it. If you missed it, you might not have heard that. But she also hinted at two other things. Okay, she said that she thinks whatever we do from the 25th to the 30th in June will count. Now, we don't know what count means. We don't know how many points we're going to need. We don't know what we're going to need, but she hinted that June 25th to the 30th, whatever we do will count. Okay. And she also hinted that the month of July, now remember, they're not announcing this trip until July 20th, but she was hinting that the month of July might count for double points for the trip. Okay. So, and I'm being honest with you, right up front with you. None of this is factual, but from the sources that I talk to and the conversations I hear, if I had a choice of betting money on it or not, I would put money on it. Okay. So where April and I are, obviously, we will be prepared to do all we can June 25th to the 30th as we're closing out the month, get as much personal, because the trip is going to be based on what you do personally, and probably going to be based on tracks. So for every 3 customers and 1 consultant that you get, or for every 750 points that you do, it'd be equal to a trip. I don't know exactly how they're going to plan it out. Okay. But it's going to be based on personal. So you want your personal things on a roll. Okay. So 2 other things. So this is no time for summertime blues. Okay. I talked about it last week. I'm not going to go through it again tonight, but it's time for all of us to be out more often, around people more often, and really ramp up our personal activity. Okay. Now I got a story I want to tell you that involves Fred and Ira, but one last thing. April and I just finalized arrangements to be in Chicago on July 20th for a watch party. So anybody, and here's what we're going to do with the watch party. Okay. We'll be at Catalina's office. Okay. On Dr. Grija, and we're going to do a 30-minute opportunity presentation before the virtual starts. And in case people arrive during the virtual, we're going to be ready to do another 30-minute presentation after the virtual ends. Okay, if nobody comes in the middle of the virtual, then we're going to do a training on how to apply whatever they shared, okay, during the virtual. So we'll be in Chicago for the virtual event on July 20th. Now, here's a cool story. Okay. And folks, this is what the kind of people that are involved in this business. And it's one of the reasons why April and I are still, after 32 years, so excited, okay, about building our business, okay? We love it more today than we did 20, 30 years ago because now it's portable and we can do business from the beach, from the pickleball court, from another country, anywhere we want. We're never out of touch. So we love it. We're prisoners to nothing. So I get a call the other day, and Fred and I will text once in a while back and forth, but calls are rare. So he calls the other day and he starts to tell me a story that his son had gotten a lead, for a potential customer. And the son was working. Okay. So he asked his dad, Fred, okay, to handle it. And Fred started talking to the person. And one of the things he shared was the person shared is that he was in the United States. Okay. Well, Fred's in Canada. So that's a reasonable question. Like, how did you find us? Or how did you find, the website that you found? So they're talking back and forth. And the gentleman shares, well, I'm a patient of Dr. Goodman. So now Fred's thinking, well, that could be two. That could be Ira, or that could be Neil. Okay. But then the guy said, well, I live in Chicago, in Illinois. So long story short, this person was Dr. Goodman's patient. Dr. Goodman, just the day before, had given him his website. Now, I don't know what the guy did. He's 70. I happen to know he's 75 years old. He might have just Googled it. Who knows? Okay. But he got someone else's website, and that was Fred's son. But here's what's really cool. As soon as Fred realized this was Dr. Goodman's patient, he called me, told me the story, and said, can you get with Dr. Goodman, or can you handle this? I said, absolutely. And I said, Fred, you're one of the coolest gentlemen I've ever met in this business. I'd like to think everybody would do that, but I know for a fact everybody wouldn't. And we're really excited that we have a team and we have partners that think like that, because folks, karma is karma, and what goes around comes around, and that good stuff just comes back to you. So Fred, thanks for being the gentleman and honest business person that you are. Ira would have said what I said, but I'm actually watching him on TV. He's at the Mets game tonight. The Mets are in town playing the Cubs. So he's in Chicago at the game right now. That's why he's not on tonight. So Fred, Ira said thanks a million, and I'm sure you'll hear that from him personally in the future. But with that, I'm going to stop the share. And April, it's all yours.
Yeah, I have just a few more things. I'm going to go over some of my language when I'm inviting somebody, and hopefully some of this you can connect with. And again, it really gets it back to posture, but don't just send a link. And Bobby said that, if you feel, and I know the world is going texting, and I would still rather prefer to talk on the phone. So, I would just say, hey, I'd love to grab a few minutes of your time. Do you have some time now? If you want to do that in a text, just say, hey, I got something I want to share with you. Do you have a minute? So at least you're capturing their attention. Because if you just send a text without asking for permission to talk or text, they can ignore you. Anybody ever been ghosted? So we're trying to prevent that. And this, yeah, I know, this gets their curiosity up. What is she going to tell me? What are we going to talk about? So I have like two different messages that I use, when I'm selling the business. Lately, I love the Newsweek. I just mentioned it. I only have one person that's asked for the article in all the people that I've told to, which is crazy to me, but it's such great leverage. So, if I'm selling the business to this person, I may say, my company is one of 20 innovators of medical science for 2024, and it was in Newsweek this week, Then I may ask them, if you're open, could you join me on a Zoom on Monday night at 8:30 to get more of the details? So you see how I kind of wove all that in there without telling anything, but I did say something exciting, medical innovators. And when you talk, I'm going fast because we only have a little bit of time, but go slow, especially if you're on the phone, because people are slower to absorb things these days. So a lot of times when I say things, before I say something, and they call it pitch, but before I say something like, my company is one of 20 medical innovators, or Newsweek, I might slow down. I may just stop for a minute, kind of let them catch up, and then continue on. If I'm selling the products, I'm going to say, new category creating. I may talk about a benefit that we've talked about before if they're more interested in collagen or Protandim. But again, always back to, if I sent you a link, would you join me on the Zoom? I want them to commit. And then I'm going to follow it up with, after they say yes, I'm going to say, so is 8:30 okay? I'm going to recommit to make them say yes again. And then I say, great, if that's okay, I would send you a live link or tomorrow, 30 minutes before, type of thing. So you see, I keep getting them to say yes, 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 so that they're committing. Studies show that the more that we get somebody to say yes, the more they're going to be on that. So here are a few things that I do, again, with the posture. If somebody says to me, I'll try, no worries. If you're too busy, well, I'll try you another time. I took it away right away, because as soon as you take something away from somebody, then they're super excited about it. If they say I might, no worries. I have others that I can invite, just let me know. There's only so many spaces. Let me know if you really want to be on it. So again, I'm making them commit. Or I had a lady just now, she said, I think probably I might be on. So you could go two different ways with this. You could ask, what would keep you from being on the Zoom? That type of thing. Or, you can just say, I'll check back tomorrow to see if you're ready to commit. Don't just send a link for the sake of sending a link. Make sure that they've given permission to have that link, and that there's some importance, as Bobby said, some desire to watch the Zoom. You have to have created some kind of desire. So a few of those things, just by showing your posture that you have something really cool, that, it's like, if you're doing this, you're absolutely going to do it. If they do it with you, great, you'd love that. If they don't, that's fine too. And when you have enough people in your funnel, nobody is all that important. And that's really what it needs to get down. And that's when recruiting gets to be more fun. So again, that guy that texted back early this morning, if you're keeping an email list, if you're keeping a text list, anything like that with these people, make it a habit. Twice a month, maybe, and I've chosen to do, like I said earlier, Sunday nights to do my emailing and text. I got 10 people already that said that they would be on the launch, because they were all, and one lady I totally crossed out. So I'm not even sure I want her on the link. I told Bobby, I said, it's really bad if I cross you out. So she must have said something. But again, that's what happens, because you drip on them, you drip on them, you drip on them, and it's an easy way to drip on them. So hopefully that helped you a little bit with, the language and how to invite people on the launch.
She's got another great line, folks. It was, and I've started using it, and it's for all the people that you've sent multiple messages to, but they've kind of ghosted you. They stopped responding or getting back to you or whatever. And the gist of it is, where do we go from here? And basically you're telling them you're going to delete them. The community. So it's like, where do we go? What's the whole part of that, April, with the where do we go from here?
Well, it's closure for yourself. Hey, I've left a few messages, not sure where we go from here. That's it.
You're putting the ball in their court. And
Yep.
What you do when you say, where do we go from here? You are creating a fear of loss. That is the only thing that comes from that line, is a fear of loss or a commitment to look or get on with you. Okay. But it's either they're going to get on with you or they're severing the cord. And either way, it's closure for you, and you can put an X through them. But somehow April kept them in the database and she came back for more. So it doesn't matter. But I got to tell you, folks, and we've started doing advertising again. We hadn't done it in a long time. And we just compare notes, because we split the leads, and most of the women go to April. Most of the men go to me. But we just compare notes and talk about what Poindexters they are, how crazy they are, or the dumb stuff they do or say, and how much we like them. And then the ones we like, they ghost us, and we make a game of it. You know, we make a game of it. But what's happened, our funnel's full. And I'm looking, I was creating a database. April's probably got more leads because I was giving most of them to her, but I have about 25 now, and 20 of them are on the back burner, you know, for whatever reason. I'm just kind of done with them for now. But 5 of them I'm working on. They said they're interested in starting. Okay, so my focus is on the 5. It's amazing when there's 25 people in the hopper and 5 of them are getting close to the bottom coming out of the funnel, how any one thing doesn't bother you anymore. The one reaction doesn't get to you anymore. You create that posture that April was talking about, and you start to make a game of it. And I don't mean a game of it that like it doesn't matter, but you just start to treat it like a game. You start keeping score, and you're only interested in the ones that want to win with you. And you don't care that the ones that don't do it. I mean, but they still end up in a database to get dripped on later. Okay, they you know, unless they really do something disgusting or something, then you just block them and erase them. But that doesn't happen, you know, but once every few years or something, so you don't have to worry about that. But anyway, we're 2 minutes over. I always want to try and keep it now to 8:30, but 2 things. You want to be on your opportunity Zoom personally tomorrow, act like it's not recorded, and talk to people to be on it as if it's not recorded. Don't ever commit to it is. If they ever back you into a corner, say, look, I have no idea and I don't believe it's recorded, but if for some reason you end up missing out live and I find out it is, I'll let you know. Don't ever tell them it is recorded. Never, ever do that. Okay. You know, I've told you that. It's like being at the Super Bowl or watching it the next day, a replay, or being at a Rolling Stones concert or watching the tape the next day. They're 2 different things. Live is live. Okay. So anyway, we got a big week because we know something's going to go on Tuesday night also. And that'll take us up to Sunday night. I can tell you next Sunday night, we will Zoom, but we will keep it short so people have a chance to finish up the month and not to take too much out of the last day. Okay, anyone got any last minute comments? Otherwise, we'll call it a day. Everybody good? All right, I'll get this trimmed up and posted in the group and in the you know, the team group, and otherwise we're good. So we'll see you all tomorrow night with lots of guests, folks, okay? Even if you start inviting now and all through tomorrow, you will have guests. If you haven't gotten one committed as of now, and you start now, you will have guests on tomorrow night. And I promise you, if you have guests on, you'll do business. Okay? You good, April?
Yep.
Have a good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, everybody. Thank you, Bob and April.